Hello, this is Mrs. Ellison, and this is a work through of the Algebra 1 Chapters 1 and 2 practice test for 2016-17. We'll get started with number 1. Give two ways to write the algebraic expression t divided by 3 in words. Well, subtracted is not going to be an option. Product and times, those indicate multiplication. So the remaining options are B and C, where we have t divided by 3. That would be option C right here. Number 2 says, give two ways to write the expression 29p in words. When you have a number right next to a variable, that implies multiplication. So divided by and added to, subtracted from, it must be option B. Evaluate the expression square root of m plus n if m equals 9 and n equals -5. Here we're going to plug in the values that we have for m and for n, and then evaluate. First would come the square root. Square root of 9 is 3, and then 3 plus -5 would equal -2. That's option C. Number 4, Julia scored a total of 36 points in the basketball game, and she scored P points in the second half of the game. Write an expression to determine the number of points she scored in the first half of the game. Then find the number of points she scored in the first half of the game if she scored 18 points in the second half. Okay, if she scored a total of 36 points and P of them were in the second half, then the first half would have to be 36 minus P, because we know that the first half plus the second half, P, would equal 36. So 36 minus P would give us our first half. That is option C already. We can do, if she scored 18 points in the second half, that's when we would plug in 18, and that does indeed give us that the first half must have been 18 points. So number 4 is C. Number 5 says to evaluate the expression 2p plus q for p equals 7 and q equals 8. So if we plug in 7 for p and 8 for q, then we have to decide, do we multiply first or do we add? And in the order of operations, multiplication would come first. 2 times 7 is 14, and then 14 plus 8 would be 22. So number 5 is also C. Okay, number 6 says the temperature on the ground during a plane's takeoff was 10 degrees Fahrenheit. At 38,000 feet in the air, the temperature outside the plane was -23 degrees Fahrenheit. Find the difference between these two temperatures. Because we're looking for the difference between the two temperatures and it doesn't tell us which direction to subtract, we're basically looking for the distance between these two numbers on a number line, which implies an absolute value problem. So if we take 10 minus -23, in absolute value, the answer there, minus a negative is the same as adding that positive. So we have the absolute value of 33, which is 33. And our answer is D. If you were to have subtracted the other direction, let's look at that for just a moment. If we had done instead -23 minus 10, because we're inside the absolute value here, the answer would have ended up the same. The absolute value of -33 is also 33. Number 7, simplify this expression. This is an order of operations problem. So we have 5 cubed plus 15 divided by 5 minus 1 minus 8 in parentheses. So order of operations tells us that we need to work inside parentheses first. So our first thing to do would be this 1 minus 8, which is -7. Next we have multiplication and, next we have exponents. We've got our parentheses next is exponents. That would be this 5 cubed. So 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. Next we have multiplication and division as they appear from left to right. So the first one that shows up is this 15 divided by 5, which is 3. And the next one that shows up is actually this minus -7. It sort of is masquerading as a subtraction problem, but this is multiplication because this means -1 times -7, which is plus 7 then. And then we can add one at a time, 128 plus 7, and that gives us 135. So our answer for 7 is C. Next is number 8. And we are asked to evaluate 12 divided by x times 2 if x equals 3. So we have 12 divided by 3 times 2. And remember, we multiply and divide from left to right as they appear in order. So this division actually would come first. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And 4 times 2 is 8. So the answer to number 8 is 8D. Number 9, evaluate 3 plus c cubed times 4. So we have 3 plus 5 cubed times 4. That exponent would come first, and we saw in number 7 that 5 cubed is 125. 125 times 4 is 500, and 3 plus 500 would be 503. That's option C. Number 10, the directions are to simplify by combining like terms. So it might help to identify where your like terms are. Here we have 5a cubed. Here's another a cubed, and that's -4 of them. And then we have 10t is here, and we have another 8t, and then we have our 6a squared that has no terms that are like it. So hopefully this will make it a little easier to combine our like terms by color coding our paper. We have 5 of these minus 4 of those, then we have 1 of them. If we have 10 t's plus 8 more t's, that's 18t, and plus 6a squared. And that is option A. So 10 is A. Number 11, create a table of ordered pairs for the function y equals 2x squared minus 2 using these values for x, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Graph the ordered pairs and describe the shape of the graph. Okay, so we have y equals 2x squared minus 2. And make a table here. And our first x value is -2. So if we have 2 times -2 squared, first would be this exponent, so that's 2 times 4 minus 2. And that's 8. 8 minus 2 would be 6. For -1, we have 2 times -1 squared minus 2. -1 squared is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. For 0, we have 2 times 0 squared minus 2. And that's 2 times 0 minus 2. 0 minus 2 is -2. For 1, we have 2 times 1 squared minus 2. And that is 2 times 1 minus 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. And for 2, we have 2 times 2 squared minus 2. Gives us 2 times 4 minus 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. So we are looking for this table of values and for a graph that graphs them correctly. And it looks like -2, 6, -1, 0, 0, -2, 1, 0, and 2, 6 are all here on table A. And it looks also like these are graphed appropriately. -2, 6, -1, 0, 0, -2, 1, 0, and 2, 6. So A is the correct answer for number 11. Number 12 says to solve q plus 3 equals 50 and check your answer. So if we have q plus 3 equals 50, we need to isolate q. So if we think to ourselves, what is being done to q, we're going to need to subtract this plus 3 from both sides. That'll cancel that out. We have q equals 47, so 12 is C. 13, solve 4p equals 72. Now here p is being multiplied by 4, so to undo this multiplication, we will divide both sides by 4, and we get that p is 18. Number 14 says, if 6x equals 48, find the value of 50 minus 7x. In order to find this part, we have to figure out what x is first. So that's where we solve this equation for x, and then we're going to evaluate it in this equation, or this expression. So we start with 6x equals 48, and divide both sides by 6 to undo this multiplication. And in this case, x equals 8. Then we're asked to find the value of 50 minus 7x, so 50 minus 7 times 8. 7 times 8 is 56, so this is 50 minus 56, which is -6. That's option A. Number 15, solve 38 equals 18 minus 2a. So if we have 38 equals 18 minus 2a, we want to isolate a, so we're going to move away the things that are further away from it. We'd move this 18 away first. 38 minus 18 is 20, and that leaves us with -2a on the right-hand side. So now a is being multiplied by -2. We need to divide by -2 to cancel that out. And here we have -10 equals a, and that is option C. Number 16, solve 37c plus 7 minus 35c equals 15. Well, here we have to do a little simplifying on the left-hand side before we can solve this problem. So we'll take what we have for like terms. We have 37c and -35c, which leaves us with 2c. And from here we can solve by subtracting 7 from both sides. We get 2c equals 8, and then divide by 2. C equals 4. So our answer for 16 is A. Number 17 has variables on both sides of the equation. So we need to start by creating a variable side and a number side. And I've always talked about moving the variable that has a coefficient that is smaller, just because smaller things are easier to move. So do we want to move 49p or 62p? I would choose the smaller one, 49p. That's 49p. And we'll do that by subtracting it from both sides. That leaves us here with -32, and then 62 minus 49 is 13, so 13p, minus 58. Then we need to move this over to the other side to isolate p. This would be 26 equals 13p, and divide both sides by 13, 2 equals p. So 17 is B. And we will continue this in video 2. Thank you.